Will, how you doing, champion? Hey, first of all, thank you very much for the donation, dude. I really appreciate it. But more importantly, let's get right to it, man. I've been watching this video a couple times over, and I wanted to put, this is the kid in the video below. That's Brody Cooper Vasilakis. He's Australian and he goes to GCU. And the reason I put it next to your video is just because there's a couple things I really want to point out. I think watching Brody, this was back around Christmas time, but I've seen a few videos since then because he's kind of gotten away from something that I noticed here. So that's why I wanted to put Brody up next to you. So let's get right to it, man. So first of all, let me slide your video. All right, so let's have a look, kind of full motion, up and go. Now, first of all, it sucks because you haven't got a slope, man. You haven't got a mound here, but that's okay. We still get to see enough. Now, I love the fact that when you come up, your hip starts to see how that front hip starts to get going. Like this center of gravity right here, this center mass starts to push forward as you get to the top of your leg kick. Really good. And then all of a sudden you get in this position right here. Good. One thing I want you to check out as I move these, when I'm in this position, see how this glove, right? Now, okay, these angles here and here, we want it to be the same. Some guys can get away with it, but when you can angle at your elbow, the exact same here and the exact same here, you're in good shape. What that does is create symmetry through the middle, okay? And I use a figure skater for an example. When a figure skater wants to spin really fast, these angles of their arms or their vectors, whatever, they have to be the same. When they want to go faster, they actually come in tighter and then they spin faster. Well, as you know, you're rotating as you go, right? This body's rotating, especially this back heel, this hip, and these shoulders are all rotating, right? Kind of like a figure skater, kind of. They're a little different, but you know what I mean. That's kind of the same thing. So when we get to there, the angles are pretty good right there. But when we get to here, about there, when ready just to land and go, want them to be the same. The other thing is too, notice how this glove, and we're going to get to Brody here in a second, but notice how this glove, right, you stay pretty tight in here, which is good, but these shoulders are rotating in thin air, so your foot hasn't quite hit the ground yet, okay? Think of it like when I'm hitting. When I'm hitting, my foot has to land, and then everything goes up that spiral staircase with rotation. You land, hips, shoulders, whack, back goes with it. Same goes with pitching, okay? So I want to show you Brody real quick, and this is why I'm pulling his out. So he's got that backward C, right, like we're talking about. And you can see when he gets here, it's hard to tell from this angle, but this glove is on his front side. So on front side. And when he lands, I'm going to clear these out for a sec. Look when he's about to land, okay? When he's about to land, look where his chest is, dude. See how his hips are going, his heels starting to go to the sky, his back knee's starting to go, his belly button or his belt is starting to go to where it needs to go. And you can see that shirt logo, pretty clear. It's kind of facing us. See where you're at now? So where you're, let me get to where he's landing. I'm getting to where you land here. And all this is already, these shoulders, right, and hips are kind of rotating at the same time. So one thing to correct that, easier way to correct that is called a preset position. So when you get in this position, think of it like this. This is the simplest way to show it. I know what number you wear. Let's say you wear number 10. I want you to show number 10. The catch is down here, right? I want you to show number 10 on your back. Just the slither of that 1 on the number 10 to the catcher. All the way down. Show that number 10 till about here. And then those shoulders can fire after that, okay? Again, you hear all the time, hip and shoulder separation, but that's one little trick I like to use to lay those shoulders. The other thing I want you to think about too, you can see Brody's kind of blurred because of the frames per second, but his angles here, they stay the same. They actually get in tight. These angles stay the same. All right, we want to see that. You got your DeGrom tough guy position right there. All right, DeGrom gets in that position too. His knees and his DeGrom's, it's hard to replicate what he does, but we can all try, even though he's a freak of nature. That knee's a little inside that foot of his. That's okay, because your hips are doing all the driving. But let me just clear that off for a sec. I want you to think of it like this, my man. I want you to keep all this energy here in this circle. I mean, excuse me, in that square. As long as you can. Show that number 10 as long as you can. You can see Brody right here. Boom, boom. He gets away a little bit, but the angles stay the same. And then when he gets to foot strike, boom, he's ready to roll. And then he gets all that back flexion right here. Right? Look at this. See the angles? Let me clear that off. Right? This, see where he's in that position? See how from here, his hips are forward, shoulders are a little bit back, further back here. Your hips are forward and your shoulders are forward, if that makes sense. You want to create that, call it a whip, that back flexion. Super, super important, okay? But dude, man, you watch it full motion, you move well, you can get a little higher with that leg kick if you want, right? You stay in that position, stay connected, and just here is where you kind of run into a little bit of trouble, because what that's going to do is the shoulders, when we get separated here, these shoulders are going to rotate with the hips. And you get here and see how they all rotate together? It's going to affect your velocity, okay? Whereas Brody, all right, gets here, look at that. This hand is still on this side of him. Logo's pointed this way. Shoulders are coiled and ready to fire, but the hips are flying. Hips are flying forward. Shoulders aren't. Lands and then woof. Okay, so that's one little trick. Show that number 10 or whatever, 44, whatever number you wear, to that catch as long as you can, and keep everything inside this upper body. And again, lower body drive off that bad boy, as you know, but keep all this inside that box as best we can. Okay, and see how that arm wants to take off in thin air. Try and keep that on this side of me. Dude, thank you so much for sending through the video, my man. Hopefully that helps. Send me questions and I can answer them for you. Awesome, dude. All right, keep it going.